Evening. Welcome to Star Talk. I'm Ken Eccles, and we're glad to have you with us on the program tonight. We've got a phone number you can call. Trying to remember what I did with my phone. Got a phone number you can call and an email address that you can email. And there's the phone number up there and the email address and a caller. Hello, caller. You're on the air. Go ahead, please.
Well, good evening, Mr. Kent.
Good evening.
I want to share some good news.
Good news. We like good news.
Well, the Cowboys beat the Raiders yesterday.
Well, not everybody will like that good news, but there are always exceptions.
Oh, yeah. I heard the Epstein files are going to be released.
That's right. But before we go into that, I want to mention very quickly that I correctly predicted the winner of the game last night. And that happens so seldom that I think it's noteworthy when it does. So I did. As far as the Epstein files, the House voted 417 to 1 to pass the law that requires the release of the files. And don't you know, then they sent it to the Senate, and the Senate didn't even vote. The Senate just says, yeah, we agree. We're not even going to bother to take a vote. So it is now law.
Well, I can't wait to find out whose names are really on that paper.
Well, now let me back up a second. There's one more thing has to happen before it officially becomes. It may have happened now. I don't know. The president has to sign it. But when the Senate passed it through without a vote, then it went on straight to the president. And I don't know if the president's gotten it yet or not. He may have gotten it and signed it already. I haven't heard.
Well, like it is, we'll hope to find out how many names are on that page. I mean,
well, we'll see. We'll see what we find out. You know, the Justice Department has had these files for several months now, and we have pretty good information that they've been. We know they've been redacting the files. Certainly, they've been redacting the victims' names. And they're redacting anything that reads like child pornography. And we don't know what else they may have redacted. But what they're going to, the law requires them to release the files and also make them downloadable and searchable so that presumably anybody will be able to access them online.
Yeah. Well, the only thing is, we'll see whose name, we'll find out who Epstein associated with.
Well, we'll find out who he associated with, and they left the names in the files, is what we'll find. We don't know what names will be taken out.
Yeah, I talked to my lady friend tonight.
Okay, good.
She's doing fine. She's doing great. Everything is good. And we're making plans.
All right. Are you going to let us in on the plans, or is that private?
That's okay. I'm planning on visiting her once I get everything settled.
Okay. All right. Now you're going to have to move. If you move to the Philippines, you're going to have to move a lot of personal wealth and a lot of money and a lot of stocks and bonds and things to some. Are you going to leave that stuff in the Cayman Islands, or are you going to move it to the Philippines?
Well, I'll probably move it to the Philippines while I'll buy us probably a 2-story house.
All right. Okay.
Just build it from scratch.
All right. Well, that's fine. That's a good way to do it. Build it on high ground.
Oh, yeah. I'm especially going to high ground.
All right. I think it's a good plan.
So I can put a satellite up so I can get Star News.
Now, what kind of ceremony are they going to have at Bojangles are they going to name a building after you or something like that?
I hope not. I hope they don't name a sandwich after me.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I'd order that one or not. I'd have to think about that.
Oh yeah, you would have to depends on what they put in depends on what they'll put in the biscuit.
Yeah, but they could like name. They could put a plaque or something outside. Where you empty the grease.
No, I don't touch the grease.
Oh, you don't empty the grease.
I never did that, but one time.
All right. All right. Well, maybe they'll at least put a plaque on the door, the door that you would come in and out.
Oh, that would be the front door.
All right. Well,
Or
maybe they'll do
the back.
that.
Maybe the back door.
Perhaps they'll do that.
Well, the thing is, I'm on my last vacation, and I'm in day 3 of vacation.
Okay. And vacation, what, 6 days?
It goes all the way to. I got to go back Sunday morning.
Okay. And then you'll be working toward July.
Oh yes, I will keep you informed, and it will be July 31st.
Okay. Life's getting pretty exciting.
Yeah, and I hope all the people I make mad, I hope they're still happy.
Well, that didn't make much sense, but I'm going to let it stand.
Okay, thank you, sir. And I want to say hello to everybody, to Hillbilly, to my buddy who comes to eat with me sometimes, and to Mark and Maya Dan, and to you and Mrs. Ken. And I'll talk to you tomorrow, sir. Bye-bye.
Thanks for calling. Good to hear from you. Have a Sam Page update, by the way. Sheriff Page says that he wants to do the show. He wants to come on and spend an hour with us, and he intends to, but he wants to do it in December. He said he's busy with a lot of things right now. He will officially file for candidacy, officially file for the state Senate on December 1st. And he said that we should contact him soon after December 1st. And then we'll be able to set up a time when Sheriff Page will be here to talk to you and listen to you. So stay tuned for that. I will expect, I guess my goal would be to have that in the first week of December. So that's what we'll work on doing. Phone line is open. You can give us a call. You can send us an email at the email address, which is keneckleslive@gmail.com. And I got the wrong phone in my hand. Let me reach over here and get the right phone in my hand. This emailer says, Ken, why did they have to have a law to release the Epstein files? It seems to me that the Attorney General couldn't she have released them any time? I don't know why they had to have a law to authorize it. Oh, well, you're right. They didn't have to have a law to authorize. They had to have a law to require it. Certainly, the Justice Department could have released the files, anytime they wanted to. The president could have told the Justice Department to release the files whenever. So the law didn't give them authority to release the files. The law tells them they have to release the files. The law gives 30 days. It says the files are required to be released within 30 days. The law requires them to make the files, as I mentioned, they're required to make them downloadable and searchable. At least the last version of the law that I saw, and I don't think they changed that, requires them to make the files downloadable and searchable so that you can, if you want to, access them online. It's going to be a whole lot of stuff. If you want to search for something online, you'll have a great many things to search through because it's going to be a lot. So that's what the law does. Now, there is another law. There's a law on the books, not part of this law, but a law that's been on the books for a while, that says that the Attorney General can legally withhold information if it's pertinent to an ongoing discussion. That may or may not come into play. We don't know. Hello, caller. You're on the air. Go ahead, please.
What's going on, Ken? How you doing?
I'm doing fine. How are you?
I'm doing all right. I just saw on TV where President Trump was on his plane. He said, "Quiet, quiet, piggy."
wait a minute. What did he say?
He told this reporter woman, he said, "Quiet, quiet, piggy."
Okay. All right. Well, I hope quiet
Oh, it's
was
all over the
achieved.
news about what he said. It's all over.
Oh, I haven't seen that. I didn't see that.
It was just on before I called you. He said he was on his airplane. That woman, he told her, he said, "Quiet, quiet, piggy." Called her piggy.
All right. Well, this little piggy went to market.
And that's right. None stayed home.
I don't know anything about that.
Yeah, man. Anything been going on, kids?
Not a whole lot. I talked to the sheriff today. I think we're going to have the sheriff on, aiming for the first week in December. That Sheriff Page will be here.
You gonna be in the parade when in Reedsville?
I'm not in the parade. No, I'm going to be.
I know.
at
I
the
mean, you gonna be at the parade Wednesday, right?
I'll be
not
at
Wednesday.
the parade at 4:00 Sunday in Reedsville. Not in it. I hope not.
Is that this Sunday?
Yeah, this Sunday at 4:00, the 23rd.
4:00.
The Martinsville parade on Saturday and the Reedsville parade on Sunday.
Them the two you go do?
No, I'm not doing Martinsville. They have better people than me to do Martinsville. I'm doing Reedsville.
Okay. Well, I'll let you go. I just want to tell you about what Trump just said on TV. He said, "Quiet, quiet, piggy."
Okay, I'll have to look that up.
Yeah, I'll see you. Bye.
Thanks for calling. Good to hear from you. Reedsville Parade, don't forget, the Reedsville Holiday Parade is Sunday at 4 p.m. It'll be live, of course, on Star News. So you can come down to Scale Street and watch it in person, and then you can watch it again on Star News and maybe see yourself. We hope to see you out there. Hello, caller. You're on the air. Go ahead, please.
How you doing tonight, Kent?
Good. How are you?
Pretty good, man. Pretty good. So, everybody's thinking these Epstein files are just going to clear the slate now, right?
I guess different people think different things. What do you think?
I don't think I'll ever see the day of light as long as Trump's in the White House. I just don't see it happening myself.
What do you think?
He got Pam Bondi as his. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
What do you think will prevent it?
Well, he still got Pam Bondi as his, Department of Justice lady up there, and the second in charge. He was his personal attorney. I just don't see it happening, Ken. I mean, I just go ahead. I'm sorry.
The only thing I see that could stop it, and I'm not predicting that it will, but the law that was passed by Congress today says they have to. It doesn't give them a choice. So they got to. The one way that it might not happen is I was starting to mention there's another law that says the Justice Department does not have to release any material that is pertinent to or in some way closely connected to an ongoing investigation. Now, the Attorney General could say, I don't know if she will. She could, under the law, she legally could say, well, we're still doing an investigation and these files are pertinent to it. So under that law, I decline to release the files. I don't think that's likely to happen. I think that would cause a political storm that nobody would want. Even though legally it could happen, I don't think it will.
Yeah, true. I mean, anything can happen or not happen.
Yeah. But imagine the political fallout, though, if they did that.
Exactly. That's what I was telling everybody yesterday after, the House was going to vote and pass and whatever. And they said, what do you think the Senate do? I said, well, it'd be political suicide if any of them voted not to release them.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just like saying, well, you're protecting sex trafficking and children and all that stuff. I mean, you're against that if you vote against it. So, I mean, it's a no-brainer to me politically. I mean, you got to vote to release them. But with Pam Bondi and the bunch that's in the Justice Department, the Injustice Department, is what I call it. But I just don't see it happening, Ken. And even if they do release them, I told you about the incident that happened to me when I was in Germany. I got beat, slammed to death. And I got my records later, all my medical records, 6 years later to the day. And all the records in it was blacked out. So how do you know the FBI and the CIA and the Justice Department won't do the same thing with these people, especially with billionaires involved?
Well, we know they're going to redact victims' names, even though a lot of the victims have come forward and publicly identified themselves. They are still going to redact the names of any victims that are not already known.
And they should. Yeah, I agree.
They should.
Yeah.
And they're going to redact, they say, apparently there's some really graphic stuff in this. Some stuff that we probably don't want to know the details about.
Right.
And they're going to redact that. But have they redacted the names of any prominent people, any billionaires? I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, I guess we'll get an idea of that when we see the files. But again, I believe there's such a demand here among the people. This is not a Republican thing or a Democratic thing among the people, among the regular people of this country. People want this information known. They want these files released. And I just cannot see that they're going to do anything that would make that many people that angry. I think the files will come out.
Well, I do too, Ken, but I don't think it'll be under his administration. As long as he's in the White House and we got a Justice Department that we got, I don't see it happening. But, I mean, look at Mike Thompson, he sent the House home for 7 weeks, 50 days or whatever, basically. I mean, that wasn't over the Obamacare subsidies. That wasn't a real reason, in my opinion.
It's Mike Johnson, the Speaker of the House. It was kind of curious what he said today. I don't know if you noticed this or not. After the House passed it, 417-1, Johnson said, he was talking to reporters, and he said, okay, now we're going to send it to the Senate. And he basically said, this is not an exact quote, but this is a paraphrase of what he said. He said, I have reached out to Senator Thune, that's John Thune, the Republican leader in the Senate, and he said, I'm confident that Senator Thune they're going to take their time now, and they're going to consider this bill, and they're going to make any changes that need to be made to make it better. They're going to take their time on this, and I think they will do what needs to be done. And of course, the next thing we knew, the Senate didn't even vote. They just said, pass it. We're not even going to vote on it. We pass it unanimously. So I don't think Mike Johnson was expecting that.
Exactly. I don't think he did either, Ken. I think he was going by them thinking that the leader for the Senate would find a rabbit hole to run in like he did for 7 weeks. But like you say, the public wants them and they want them as soon as possible. And it's political suicide had they not did what they did, in my opinion.
Well, and it would be political suicide if they didn't go through with releasing them, I think.
Well, I think that's going to end up with the Justice Department leaders, and we don't vote for them people.
Well, the Justice Department doesn't get to make the final decision. The president gets to make the final decision. And I think the president understands that the people want this. I think the president also understands that if those files don't get released at that point, people are going to blame the Republican Party, and they're going to remember it in the midterm elections. I just don't think that the president would. I mean, I think the president will sign the law, and the files will be released, and then we'll see what form they're in.
Right. I hope they release Ken, without too many redactions. Yeah, I think people's privacy should be, but the rest of it, I think the truth should come out. But changing the subject, is Mr. Draper going to put his paperweight in the parade this week, or have you heard?
I don't think he is. I have not heard that he has any plans for it. It'd be nice if he did, if he could, but he hasn't said anything about it, and it's probably maybe too late to do it now if he's not already made the arrangements. So I don't know. I don't expect to see it.
Yeah, I'll go in. I got a truck, a collectible truck kit. I was going to put it in there, but if it's too late, but I don't normally drive it to rain or after dark or anything like that anyway. But they were calling for the rain, so yeah. I'll try to find out tomorrow if I can get it in or not.
Well, I have a truck too that I normally don't drive in the rain or after dark, but that's because the lights don't work and the roof leaks.
Oh my Lord! One more quick thing. Charles from Danville, I've already figured out what he's going to do when he gets there. What business he's going to open up?
What?
It's going to be Chucky's Chicken.
All right. I hope they put that online so we can order it and have it sent from the Philippines.
All right, Ken. Have a good night, man. I enjoy your show.
Thanks for calling. Phone line is open. The phone number is up there that you can call. The email address is keneccleslive@gmail.com. And we'd love to hear from you either by phone or by email. And this emailer says, Ken, when did you say the sheriff is going to be on? Well, I didn't say exactly because I don't know exactly, but it'll be in December. On December 1st is when Sheriff Page officially files to run for state senate. And after December 1st, we'll call him back, and we'll certainly let you know when he's going to be on. Hello, caller. You're on the air. Go ahead, please.
Good evening to you, Ken.
Good evening.
Curiosity prompts the call.
Okay.
Who was the one Republican who voted nay?
I'm surprised nobody's asked that already. It was Clay Higgins, Congressman Clay Higgins of Louisiana is the one who voted no. And he said he knew his vote wasn't going to change anything. He knew it was going to pass, but he said he voted no on principle because he does not think that what's in the law and the circumstances under which the files will be released do enough to protect the victims and to shield them from a whole new round of anxiety that they're going to suffer when people start talking about this stuff again. So it was Clay Higgins, and that is what he said.
Do you happen to know Higgins is up for re-election in 2026?
It's Congressman Higgins, and yes, he is. They're all up for re-election in 2026.
Interesting. I wonder if he's intending on running or not.
I don't know. I have no idea. But he is the one. When I saw the thing, the first time I saw the vote, first time I saw it on the screen, 417-1. The first thing I thought was, gosh, who is that one?
I've been sitting here regretting not watching the vote today because I wanted to know who the one was.
Okay, well, you can write it down. Clay Higgins.
Thank you, Ken. Have a good evening.
Thanks for calling. The only one in the House to vote no, and obviously nobody voted no in the Senate because nobody voted in the Senate. So it was unanimous in the Senate and 417-1 in the House. Ken, any more news on the $2,000 checks? The $2,000. I couldn't bring that to mind for a sec. The $2,000 stimulus checks, maybe. The news today is that the $2,000 checks might come in 2026, perhaps in mid-year 2026 or a little later in 2026. So that's the news today about the $2,000 checks. It would sort of make sense because if they do it, say they do it in the second half of 2026, then they'd be able to release the $2,000, say just before the midterm elections. They'd be able to send everybody a check for $2,000. Not saying that's their plan, but when they talk about middle of 2026, that sort of comes to mind. So yeah, we may get the $2,000 checks, and then the other thing, we may get the $200 extra in our Social Security benefit for the first 6 months of 2026. That bill could pass. That'd be $1,200, and then the $2,000 checks on top of that. We may just be swimming in borrowed money from the government next year. I guess we're already swimming, or maybe we're drowning in borrowed money from the government. But that's the status of both of those things. Stay tuned to see how they work out. Ken, they're building a roundabout. I don't know if you know this. I do know it. I don't know if you know this. They're building a roundabout in Eden there at the end of Washington Street, where it turns into Boone Road, where Bridge Street goes by. Why are they building a roundabout? Won't that cost more than just hanging a stoplight up? Well, they've already got a stoplight up. They already paid for that. They're building a roundabout because I don't know why they're building a roundabout. I do know this about roundabouts. They've built a couple lately in Eden. They've built a few in Reedsville, a couple in Reedsville, at least one new one in Reedsville, there at the end of Scale Street. Roundabouts are, based on what I hear, roundabouts actually save money over time. And roundabouts, based on what I hear, reduce accidents at intersections, and they, based on what I hear, roundabouts make accidents less serious when they do occur at intersections. And that's why a local government will, every now and then, decide to build a roundabout. If you don't live in Eden, you may need a little more to pinpoint this. Washington Street, that used to be where downtown Leaksville, that was Washington Street. And the roundabout in question here would be at the end of Washington Street, where it turns into Boone Road. Hello, caller. You're on the air. Go ahead, please.
Yeah, Ken, how you doing tonight?
Good. How are you?
All right, Ken. This is say briefly there,
All right.
but sending ICE agents to on Charlotte. We got an example of the work that they do. After stopping a man, they broke his window and arrested him, showing no warrant. Now, he told him he was a citizen, but they continued. A few minutes later, they told that he was a citizen. And look at this, and they kicked him out 10 miles from his vehicle. So he was stuck with getting back to his vehicle, $700 broken window. And this man is a citizen. He come here from Honduras. So what if that is you? How will we feel immigration procedure then?
Well, I
You know.
guess I wouldn't like that. I don't know who would.
I know it. And so I mean, there's no check on these agents. They landing on top of and snatching people in the middle of the night and stuff like that. And so, I mean, no agency should disregard the law at all. And secondly, we have placed 12 ships and thousands of soldiers outside of Venezuela, and to provoke Congress have not phone. Can you imagine the daily praise this operation? Those ships, the airplanes, and soldiers are just sitting there, the Venezuela. Now, we could spend that money on SNAP health insurance. And the thing about it, most of our that they say they're avoiding and blowing up fishing boats, it comes from Mexico. Is that right, Ken?
I don't know the answer to that. I know a
Okay.
great deal comes from
Well,
Mexico, but I think
yeah,
a lot of it
well,
does come by sea
right.
as well.
Yeah, that's tough. And see, Ken, am I the only one who see that these actions are not is the president fighting so hard to Epstein papers? Well, I'm talking about he's done his old man, and the Waffle Man has done a 180. But just night or so before he did that, he had those three ladies at the White House trying to change the vote. And understand he's getting some bad advice somewhere, because programs that he initiating, the actions that he's taken have been very unpopular. And just to name a couple, ICE approach to immigration, that's unpopular, such as FEMA, VA, Medicaid, and SNAP. And so I think he's getting some bad advice somewhere. And that's my comment on that. This thing, the way what ISIS is doing, they going, I understand now, the next stop is going to Raleigh, just snatching people up, and then without any paperwork, anything. That's against the law, and it needs to end.
Well,
And thank you for your time, and you can let me know your opinion on the approach that ICE is taking. And one lady they snatched up, 74 years old. So thank you for your time.
well, thanks for calling. Good to hear from you. Phone line is open up there. You can give us a call. The email address is keneckleslive@gmail.com, and we'd love to hear from you either way. As far as ICE, I think ICE should do what we all should do and should conduct itself as we try to conduct ourselves according to the law. I believe that's what everybody ought to do. This emailer says, Ken, no, no, we're not gonna go through with that one. We're gonna let that one stand right where it is, and move on to this one. Well, actually, we'll move on to this. Hello, caller. You're on the air. Go ahead, please.
Hello, Ken. How are you this evening?
I'm fine. How are you?
I'm pretty good, Ken. I'm looking for, but no, I don't know. I had to go to Charlottesville tomorrow about my hip. But listen, I heard you say something about Boone. Boone. Okay, look, I was just sitting here. I heard my talk last night about politics, so I'm getting off of it. So what I'm saying is, you said something about Boone, and it brought my mind back to Walton's Mountain. Okay, Boone. Yeah, okay, Boone. Boone right there was Zip Walton's brother in the movie right there. Didn't they have a name, a city, a town or something after Boone?
All right, Walton's Mountain. We're talking
Right.
about the Waltons, the TV show, right?
Yep. That's right. That's correct. Yeah.
Now they lived close to Rockfish. I think Rockfish was the town. Now the only town of Boone I know of is Boone, North Carolina.
Boone, North Carolina.
Yeah, but that's not close to, the Waltons were up there in the middle of Virginia, kind of south of Charlottesville.
There you go. That's what I was thinking too. Okay, so yeah. So Boone's Mountain. Boone's Mountain. That's what I was thinking about. Because I watched the Waltons a lot. I used to watch the Waltons a lot.
Yeah, I don't remember any Boone in the Waltons though.
Yeah, that was Zip. That was Zip Walton's brother. Yeah. Yeah, old man Zip. That was his brother.
Oh, all right. Okay. I remember Ike Godsey.
That's right. Yeah, he ran the general store.
Yeah, the store.
That's right. Yeah, I used to watch it a lot. I love to watch it. I got it on TV here, but it won't pick it up though. But Ken, I was thinking I'm gonna get your man off of this here. Look, I heard Charles said last night that he lost his pilot. And look, I'll tell you this right here that I when I was about 20, whatever, as soon as I got out of high school, whatever, me and my brother, we used to help my dad cut puffwood. So we went and we got out of the puffwood business, and me and my brother, we went to the Air Force. We want to join the Air Force right there.
Yeah.
So the man asked me what was my occupation, and I told him I cut wood. I cut puffwood. And he said, "Well, sir, we ain't got no use for nobody cutting puffwood." I said, "Well, he said, what do your brother do?" He said, "Well, I said, my brother, he's a pilot." He said, "Well, yeah, we can use him." I said, "Well, why in the world you can't use me, but you can use my brother?" "Well, he's a pilot. You could." I said, "Well, he can't pilot until I cut it." Anyway, Ken, I'm gonna let you go on that one. You have a good evening.
Well, thanks for calling. And I'm gonna take a guess that did not get him into the Air Force. But that's just a wild guess. Maybe it actually did. Phone line's open at the number. Email address is kennickleslive@gmail.com. And this one says, Ken, I heard that the Russians are exporting oil again. They had to rebuild a port that got damaged, and now they're exporting their oil again all over the world. I thought we had sanctioned people out of buying oil from Russia. How come they're still exporting it and making money? Well, because people are still buying Russian oil, and we would love to stop people from buying Russian oil, but we haven't quite been able to do that. Plus, it's hard to do. It's really hard to do because we don't always know whether or who is buying Russian oil, because the Russians have set up a payment system. There's this worldwide payment system that traditionally all major international transactions go through, so you can monitor who's buying what from who. But the Russians have set up a separate payment system, separate from that, that they use with people who buy their oil, and we cannot always detect who is buying Russian oil. That's one thing. Another thing, there are other things they can do. For example, if a country wants to buy Russian oil, they can make a deal through this payment system that we're not able to monitor. Sometimes the Russians will take the oil out into the middle of an ocean somewhere, and the country that's buying it will send another tanker out there, and they'll just transfer the oil in the middle of the ocean and do it that way, something else we cannot detect. So yeah, the Russians are still selling oil, and we may be able to limit the amount of oil that they sell, but it would be real hard to stop it entirely, because it's a complicated world, and these are complicated things, and we're not always able to make it go exactly the way we want it to. So that's how the Russians are still selling oil. It may drive the price down, because they're now putting more oil on the market again, and it actually could drive the price of oil down, even though they're doing something that's not exactly what we want them to do. We could sort of get a backhanded benefit if it causes the price of oil to go down. We will see. Actually, we can always use cheaper oil, I guess. Phone lines open. Email address is keneccleslive@gmail.com. And we'd love to hear from you either way, by phone or by email, on this edition of the program. Ken, have you noticed that the government does not say inflation anymore? They say affordability. Whenever they talk about inflation now, they call it affordability issues. I guess they don't want to say inflation because it's a bad word, but it's kind of obvious what they're doing, isn't it? Yeah, I have noticed that. I'm sure they have highly paid political consultants. All politicians have highly paid political consultants who tell them what they ought to say and what they ought to do. And I guess their highly paid political consultants have said, don't even acknowledge inflation anymore. When you talk about prices, talk about affordability. It's not inflation, it's affordability. So it is kind of, I guess it's a better sounding word than inflation. Speaking of affordability, the latest affordability index shows that the affordability loss is now at 3%. It was 2% early, or no, it was 2.1% earlier this year, and the affordability index, if that's what we're supposed to call it, is now at 3%. But don't ever call it inflation. That's not what we call it anymore. Hello, Ken, says this one. Parade is at 4:00. I'm ready for that. How many bands are going to be in the parade this year? I know last year in Leakesville, I think they had 2 bands. But in Reidsville, the last 4 years, there's only been 1 band. Do you know how many bands will be in the parade this year? We don't know how many. I know it'll be at least 1. Will there be a second band in the parade? I don't know. It'll be nice if there is, but I don't know. As you can tell, the only thing I know, the only thing I really know about the parade is I'm supposed to be there before 4 o'clock. So that's pretty much the extent of my knowledge about the parade. So I will be there at 4 o'clock, and we'll see how many bands we have. Ken, I'm having an argument with my son, says this emailer. Well, that's not good news. We hope families should not argue. I'm having an argument with my son. He says that Chuck Connors, my son says Chuck Connors was in Rawhide. I don't think Chuck Connors was in Rawhide. I think Chuck Connors was in The Rifleman. Do you know if Chuck Connors was in Rawhide? No. Chuck Connors was not in Rawhide. For those of you that have no idea what we're talking about old Westerns here. The Rifleman was the one that starred Chuck Connors. Rawhide had, what's his name, was in Clint Eastwood. Clint Eastwood was in Rawhide, along with Eric Fleming and Sheb Wooley. Seriously, Sheb Wooley was in Rawhide. But no, Chuck Connors was not in Rawhide. Chuck Connors' only starring role was in The Rifleman. Ken, you said that the law says they have to put the Epstein files online so that they can be searched and downloaded. Do you know how long that is going to take? I'm guessing it'll be done within 30 days, is my guess, because the law requires the files to be released within 30 days. Whether that means, I guess, that doesn't I don't think it specifically says they have to be online within 30 days. They do have to be released within 30 days. And presumably, by the time they're ready to release the files, they would also be set to put them up online and make them downloadable and searchable. But I'm just kind of presuming that. I don't know that for sure. But my notion is that will all be done in 30 days from the point that the law becomes law. And I expect, in fact, I'm looking at the news right now to see if it has been signed yet. And I don't see that it has been signed yet. Hang on, let me look right here. Senate unanimous, sent to the president's desk. I don't see that the president has it yet. The president says he will sign the legislation, but of course he can't sign it until he gets it. So I don't know if he has it yet, but I expect, my understanding is that as soon as they get it to his desk, that he will sign it, and then it becomes law. And at that point, the 30-day countdown begins. So again, my guess is that they will have it online within that 30-day period. That's my guess. Hello, caller. You're on the air. Go ahead, please.
Hey, Ken, Mr. Draper here.
Hey, Mr. Draper. Good to hear
How
from
you doing? How
Hello.
you doing?
I'm doing fine. How are you?
I'm all right. No, I hadn't been calling in lately. It ain't no big deal. It's just on Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays, I have my own podcast going now.
Okay.
And yeah, and so I'm busy doing that from 5 to whenever they want to stop talking.
All right. Well, how do we get the podcast?
Well, there's nobody that calls in here, I want to be on there. If,
Oh,
you know, they don't
It's a-
qualify.
It's a secret
They don't
podcast. Secret
This
podcast.
is 100% against the wrongdoings of the Democrats.
Okay.
And in less than 2 months, I got a little over 3,000 followers.
All right.
Because they know me from YouTube, they know me from YouTube, they know me from Instagram, they know me from Facebook. So they followed me to here,
Okay.
and so I have my own server and all. So I'm busy doing that and keeping these people. It's also a podcast on the debunked and bunked. The
Debunk and bunk. Okay.
conspiracy. I couldn't spit it out. Conspiracy theory analysis.
All right.
That's what I was trying to say. It's in reference to conspiracy theory analysis, bunked and debunked,
Hmm.
and what the Democrats have done wrong and are doing wrong, and will continue to do wrong. They've lost their party.
All right.
What's
What's your big topic this week?
The Democratic government only lasts approximately 200 years, right?
That's what history says. That's history. And
Yeah,
history,
let's
that's
do it.
what happens.
We're about 250 into this one now, so we're watching the demise of the Democratic Party right in front of us. They don't even know who their leader is. They've been asked on TV, and they don't know. They can't say who their leader is. And AOC, she's pushing for LGBTQ rights. Where's that going to get her in politics?
Probably not far.
That woke stuff is gone. And anyway, the Saudi prince today told Trump he'd invest $1 trillion in the United States.
All right.
First, it started out $600 billion. Then they sat there on live TV and said, "Nah, let's just make it $1 trillion."
All right. Well, he's got it.
Yep. So that's what we've gotten a little over $20 trillion in deals that Trump has made.
A lot of money.
Okay. And P. Diddy's still in jail.
Who?
Have a good night, Ken.
Well, who's still in jail?
P. Diddy.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't understand that part. Yeah, P. Diddy
Somebody
is
said-
he's still in jail.
Somebody said Ryan did a great book if P. Diddy wouldn't go to jail. Well, he's still in jail.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah. Blind people. Anyway, have a good one. Bye-bye.
Thanks. Let's do it this way. Mr. Draper is alive and well, as you hear. I forgot to ask him about the boat. But no, I'm pretty sure the boat's not going to be in the parade this time, maybe next time. And that's all the time we have for Star Talk tonight. We're on the air Mondays, Tuesdays, and Wednesdays. I hope you'll join us next time. Thanks for watching. I'm Ken Echols.